Right, for our discussion of the month, we're looking at our most anticipated movies of 24, and we're going to do a retrospective because we compiled this list all the way back in December 2023, and we picked 20 of our most anticipated movies of the year, and we did educated wishes. I'm gonna pull out a Deadpool and Wolverine on this. We did educated wishes on how they would score. Okay, and we
Yeah.
scored them all, and we gave an overall average prediction. And I want to see just how close some of these were, and where we landed. Before we start, here is a message from our sponsor, Hisense.
If you're looking to upgrade your home entertainment, Hisense's mini LED TVs are a game changer, offering incredible brightness, deeper blacks, and stunning contrast. Plus, the Hisense 65 and 55-inch U7N TVs just bagged a Which Best Buy award. With Black Friday pricing, there's never been a better time to choose smarter and experience premium features at an amazing value. Check out Hisense's mini LED range and more at hisense.co.uk.
Thank you to Hisense for sponsoring the show. Please like and subscribe to raise our rock bottom self-esteem. Right, let's jump into this list. Number 20, Joker, Folie à Deux. Now, what's interesting about this is that at the outset, Mark, you talked about how we got nowhere near them. But actually, I
Yes.
think that at an individual level, we did get pretty close, even if our some of our guesses were way off. Like I was expecting Joker level results from this sequel, but you were right on the money with a 5 out of 10. Boom. And you go and see it and you gave it a 5 out of 10. I mean, some would say that
That
you
you read the
basically
results.
pre-scored it. But anyway, it's like, I think that's pretty good as predictions go. Tom gave it a 4. I mean, I don't know what future like globe he was looking at there. Yeah, it's interesting. Me and
Uh,
Si were giving it 8, which
mm.
edged it up to a
Y-
6.
Yeah, but the difference is you and Si liked the first film. I
Very true.
didn't.
Yeah, I
So,
suppose. I suppose.
you know,
But overall though, it was still number 20 in our list, which says something about it to a
well,
certain extent.
I think that is exactly the reason why it has proven to be the biggest box office failure of the year so far. You know, the mere fact that they took, all right, an interesting take on a comic book supervillain origin story, and they turned it into a musical starring Lady Gaga. I mean, it's no wonder people didn't show up. Now, to be honest, it wasn't the musical bit that put me off. I love a good musical. I watched the 1982 version of Annie last week and loved it. Uh,
Oh,
but I digress. It was just, yeah, in a couple of years' time, people will look back at it and praise it for being a bold move. Well, yes, it is a bold move, but so was the end of Thelma and Louise. And look at that, they drove straight off a sodding cliff.
spoilers.
Being bold doesn't Being bold does not always equal the right choice. And this, I just think it was a poorly conceived follow-up to a film which should have been a one and done. That simple.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I still haven't got around
Or
to
gone
it.
in a better direction. I still haven't seen it
No.
and probably won't.
Yeah, it's a and that
no, no,
that
you
speaks a
should
lot
see
about
it.
it. I'll
You
I'll, I'll
should
watch it
see it.
too. It's
That's
just
not
it's
when
just
there's
it
Arcane
speaks.
to watch. Come on.
Yeah, it speaks a lot about the fact that me and Si rated it the highest, both enjoyed the first film and haven't got around to watching this. I mean that's why you spend 200 million on it, and you a lot of the people who should be going and seeing your movie are like, yeah, not really sure. Um, so the next one, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. We were bang on our average prediction of 6 out of 10. Again, interesting
Yep.
that me and Mark were doing high with this, and Tom and Si brought the score down to a 6, which is what you gave it, Mark.
Well, I
Um,
think, correct me if I'm wrong, Kaz, but you, like me, pretty much adored
the first one,
Afterlife.
yeah, yeah. I think I
Yeah,
I think I was hoping for better than this, and a 6 out of 10 isn't like horrendous.
it's I mean, at the end of the day, it's Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
It's Ghostbusters. There is enough of the Ghostbusters magic in there, but unfortunately, they can't let go of the old legacy Ghostbusters, and they need to. There is not enough room in a film for basically two full sets of Ghostbusters with two full sets of characters. They should have been retired. The old school gang should have been retired at the end of Afterlife. If they'd completely taken the old gang out of Frozen Empire, it would have made it a better film. I really believe that. It would have had more room to do something more interesting with a villain that got no time to do anything. And yeah, it just didn't get anywhere near Afterlife for me, I'm afraid. So disappointment.
unlike Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I pegged at a 6 and got a high 6 from us. But actually, I really enjoyed. I know it's got a lot of expectations after the last trilogy, but there's enough here to warrant more of it. Yeah,
Hmm.
that was pretty good. That edged up to a 7, which is pretty close. I think we've been bang on the money so far. I'm just going to say that. And that all falls off a cliff with Night Swim, where we all thought it would be better than the 5 you gave it, Mark. And I tragically tried to start it the other day and got nowhere with it. And I'm sure the echoes of your 5 were like ringing in my ear, going, don't
You
damn,
know what?
damn squib it.
What's going to be really interesting about 2024 is it's going to go down as a pretty good year for horror. You've got your long legs, you've got your heretic, you've got your smile too, you've got your first, all that kind of stuff. But all of those dropped in the second half of the year. You look at the first half of the year, we got these insipid Blumhouse films like Imaginary and this, and it was painful. I mean, I gave it a 5 because, ironically, in Night Swim, the best thing about it is nothing to do with its raison d'etre, its haunted swimming pool, which is as guffaw-inducing as it sounds. Cast well, Wyatt Russell's pretty good in it, and there's some actually quite decent character work in it. But if you're going to do a film about the haunted swimming pool, man, I want, Stuart Gordon and Brian Usner levels of insanity. I want utter ridiculousness. And this tried to play it straight.
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
no, take our haunted swimming pool seriously. Seriously. It's not offensive. It's not utterly terrible, but by God, there's better films out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only one I feel we've been slightly off in the mark on
Mm.
so
Oh,
far.
until the next one.
Well, Argyle, even Argyle, we predicted like a 7 minus, and me and Tom were shooting for 6 as Si a 7. You were the only one who was being utterly unrealistic with a 9.
Oh, I
And
just
it
thought it looked ace.
landed us, it never ever looked ace. One of the biggest flops of the year, but I know you've got a soft spot
You
for.
have no joy in your life, Harlow.
I
It's
mean,
that simple.
I think I find it hard to forgive films that even my kids just go, "What did we just watch?" And things like that. I don't know what else I showed them recently. I tried to start Aquaman 2 and they weren't
Yeesh.
having it. They were like, "What is this? And why does it look so cheap? And why are they drinking beer on a sofa somewhere? And what why?" And they just after a while we stopped and they've never asked to return.
You put
And
Night Swim on instead.
yeah, no, Argyle was one of those movies where they were just WTFing the entire time. Um, Alien Romulus. Again, pretty spot on for the mark, a 7 minus, and you landed a 6, which, we don't
Yeah.
have we don't have the
The-
benefit of pluses and minuses on our scoring system. I'd say we were pretty close. I gave it a 7. And I've seen it, and I'd probably be hard pushed not to. Tom gave it a 6, I gave it a 6, and you gave it a 7, Mark. I mean, it's somewhere between those two.
yeah, no, but I tell you what, I watched this again. It ain't getting anywhere near a 6. Oh, I tell you, it's my disappointment of the year. This makes me sad. It makes me sad.
I can see why. For me, I enjoyed it more second time round because I knew everything I was going to be disappointed by, and I knew all of the limitations and all of the bugbears. So for me, second time round, it was okay.
I,
Um,
I mean, I mean, the thing with it is though. all the films so far, and yes, even if you include the AVP films in the franchise, they've all been they've all been their own beasts, shall we say, to varying degrees of success. But this, to me,
It's your
this is
greatest thing ever. It's a
it,
nostalgia train through Mark
it's
Costello.
no, no, it's not. This is the Force Awakens. That's what this is. And do you know what? I
Yeah,
watched the
it is.
2009 Friday the 13th this morning. Exactly the same. It takes all the bits from all the previous films and just smushes them together and goes, well, there you go. It worked once, so yeah, it'll work again. And it's
Yeah.
just so disappointing. I would rather the absolute turd fest of Alien Resurrection than this, because at least Resurrection tried to do something a bit bananas. And I'd take
Yeah.
bananas over this any day. Though I mean, I don't know. Maybe a second watch, I'll
I
make
I
peace with it.
I enjoyed it on a second watch. Watched it with a friend who hadn't seen it and set him up saying it's going to be a series of bad decisions on how to pay tribute to all the previous films, and I mean all the previous films. And he had a blast with it.
Did you
Likewise,
turn?
there are a couple of bits where they paid homage and they overstepped, and they
Did you
did
turn to
that
each other and high
two or
five when
three
it was
times.
"Get away from her, you bitch"?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
bro,
yeah.
dude. Yeah, get away from
We
her, you
you get.
bitch. Oh my God.
I mean, the get away from her, we were fine with.
Oh.
We're absolutely fine with. It just was the you bitch. Anyway, I'm
Spoilers for
just saying.
everyone. Yes, it does say that line.
Mm.
Yes, it
Spoilers.
really does.
I mean,
It's interesting.
it's.
My godkids both twisted my arm to see this. They think I quite like it, but I've got no interest. I
I
just got
think
no
it's
interest in it.
Watch
it's
Seven Samurai
fine.
again, Si.
It's fine.
Mm,
It's just got moments that will make long-time fans probably grit their teeth, but I think it's fine. And as I say, once I'd lived with it, I quite enjoyed it second time round. And that's saying something about this. I probably would watch it again as a result of my second watch. But Mark set me up quite well with his 6 out of 10 and with his falls off a cliff kind of attitude to it. For
mm.
me, there was an 8 out of 10 movie in there and 15 minutes of like a 4 out of 10 movie in there. But the stuff in the 4 out of 10 movie is really annoying. It's like really annoying, which is amazing in a film which gets right such simple things that everything else gets wrong, such as having a bunch of young teenagers in a spaceship. I haven't ever seen that done right before until this. And stuff like that, it gets right. And then, yeah, it oversteps too many times. But moving on, Gladiator
Move on.
2.
Oh,
We
just
just
spoke
talked
about that.
about that. Yeah, and we all
Mm.
slapped sevens and sixes on it, so it landed a 7 minus, but Mark gave it an 8. So I'll take that as a win. But I
Yeah.
still think we're pretty close to it.
You can't
Um,
take that as a win. But do you know what this does though?
take
All of this through
win.
it's about the expectations we bring to it. You watch all of these.
Of course,
I
that's what we
probably
based our predictions on. What we expect it to
it,
be.
Hmm.
yeah, but it's the fact that those expectations then differ. I think for me is what's interesting. I had this pegged as I wasn't going to go and see this. I wasn't interested in Gladiator 2. Nah. And I went in and really enjoyed it.
Well,
Whereas
you
for Alien
you
Romulus, it
were
was the other way
You,
around.
on this list. I think we all expected it to be pretty entertaining. Maybe not an 8,
Hmm.
but pretty entertaining. I mean, Scott is pretty
Scott
reliable
can
at
do
doing stuff.
spectacle.
Yeah, yeah. This.
But then again, he can also do House of Gucci. So, just
we got
saying.
a we got a succession. The first of many that didn't get released. So, Lord of the Rings, the War of Rohirrim is delayed to 25, unless I completely missed it somewhere. I haven't heard anything about this. Like, as
They've
in, I heard about it obviously when we made this list, but I haven't heard any marketing or anything for it.
saw a trailer on TV the other day, so I think it's coming over Christmas. I don't know if it's 24 before Christmas or 25 after Christmas, but yeah, I saw the
Oh,
first trailer for it.
oh wow. Okay, they might sneak that into this and prove us all wrong. What do we expect for that? 7 out of 10. Yeah, let's see.
maybe being
Um,
generous there.
Wait a second. Mark expected a 6. Right, let's see if Mark reviews it and gives it a 6 then. Fall Guy. I, I mean, yeah, okay. Like Fall Guy. I had higher expectations for this, but you know what? I had a blast. And I know I gave it 7 out of 10 when I saw it at the cinema. But it doesn't quite do justice to how much fun I have had with it and how much I actually really want to watch it again. And the kids want to watch it again. I think Mark had a blast too. And
Totally loved it.
yeah, so I think the kind of our prediction is on the money, but this is one of those times you'd like maybe the bandwidth of a half mark up, or at least a plus. Godzilla X Kong. How do we do on that? Yeah, 7
Hmm.
7. 7 7
Yeah.
7 7. I mean, Sai, for some insane reason, thought it was going to be an 8. I mean, this franchise is never gearing up for an 8.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
not
must have
since
had
the.
good fun at one of the films. I don't know. What was the
Skull
last one
Island is
before
an
that?
8, Kaz.
No, Godzilla versus Kong. Look, Tom gave that an 8. You know what? I can see why. It's such nonsense, but it's so
Yeah.
much fun. Oh,
Do you know what? It was it. I thought it had peaked with the last one, and I thought this one had nowhere to go. I wasn't convinced with the trailers, but yeah, it's got some of that big dick kaiju energy,
yeah.
which just it's utterly ridiculous. And yes, in the trailer, yes, Godzilla runs. OMG, he runs. Of course he
I don't.
does. But
I
you know
didn't.
what?
Yeah, I
Dan
was okay with
Stevens,
that.
Dan
Yeah,
Stevens is a kaiju dentist.
yeah.
Was this the first of Dan Stevens's many scene stealing cameos this year?
I mean, he's had a lot of these very unusual
But
roles
brilliantly
recently.
balmy.
Another one that didn't make it, Kubi. Well, it kind of did make it. It's latest from Takashi Kitano. That doesn't mean anything to loads of people, but I was really looking forward to it. It's been released in Japan, and he's gone on to make another movie. Uh,
Of course he
and
has.
I don't know whether that's even been released. I don't know when we're going to get to see these movies, but anyway, there's that Kubi. So it's kind of a TBC rather than
Yeah.
a out in 2025 as where we're going to find it. Driveway Dolls, I would say, is one of the biggest um, mis I don't know miscalculations on our part. We had this at number 9, probably because of Ethan Cohen, and we all on average predicted a 7 plus quite clearly. I mean, I gave it an
Mm.
8 and Mark did, but Tom and Si gave it 7s. I slapped a 3 on it. I don't know whether you guys have even tried watching it
I haven't
after
bothered to
Nope.
see it.
after
No.
I slapped a 3 on it. I mean, it could be an 8, guys. It could be
It's
an
like I
8.
trust. It's like I trust what you say, Kaz.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's a really bad film. I think it's on Amazon, but it was really bad film. And yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but one Cohen brother
Does
does
not
not
work.
work. And Deadpool 3, yeah, we already mentioned that 7 plus, and it landed an 8. I think I gave it an 8 too, so kind of better than expected, slightly worse than expected for your 9. I didn't know you gave
Mm.
it a 9, Mark.
Wow.
No, I
What were you
predicted a
thinking?
9. I gave it an 8.
Yeah, I gave it a 9 on predictions. I didn't
Yeah,
know you.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
I
mean.
love
Mm.
Deadpool. I love him.
I
He's
know, but I
amazing.
mean, that was unrealistic. I'm just saying.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, having seen it, yeah, it was. But at the time, no, it wasn't.
I tell you what's unrealistic, us ever getting the
Oh,
chance to see
bloody
Havoc.
havoc.
I mean, what's the deal with that? I put
Messing with
in
us now.
in
Swear
here
to God.
that it made our 2021 list of most anticipated movies of
21.
2022. Now we're in 2024 talking about our favorite films of 2024 and noticing that it still hasn't been released in 2024. It doesn't even have a date in 2025. I think they were reshooting this year. I mean, Evans has done stuff that's that's worth watching. But what is this? This is like Brave New Worlds level of reshoots. Um, Nosferatu, another one delayed to 2025. I mean, are we still predicting an 8 here?
Yeah, have you seen the trailer? Oh, no, it's a silly question. The
No, I
trailer's
don't.
amazing. We should
Is
all up
it
it to a 9.
Oh,
really?
shut up.
Are you
Yes.
saying that really? You're gonna up your
Yes.
thing to oh no, you already gave it a 9.
No,
You
I'm
can't
already at a
up it any
9.
nine. Yeah.
I'm not going to up it to a 10.
No.
That would
I'm
be foolish.
I'm still giving it a 7
No, it
because
looks great.
8. Mm. Yeah, I'm
But
not sure.
I have seen Lily Rose Depp in The Idol. So, Civil War. I would
Mm.
say we were bang on the money with this until Tom came along, gave it 9, and proved us all wrong.
Yeah, but I gave the 4K review an 8, so I think you'll find I course corrected us there, Kaz.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I really enjoyed this. It was
It's
different from I think
somewhere
what any
around
of
that.
us were expecting. But
Yes. Yes.
yeah, it was a really it was a surprising film for Garland. I mean, I only saw Men for the first time earlier this year, so I had no idea what film this was going to be. But yeah, it was really really interesting. So yeah,
Mm.
good film. I
It's
think
even
we
more interesting
we
now
did that
after the
pretty well.
election.
Yeah.
Still, we did well for including it at number 5. That's not a
Yep,
bad number
Yeah.
5 shout out.
yep.
I would probably say the same about Furiosa, but I appear to be one of, well, the only 2 people who liked it. But I really enjoyed Furiosa. I
Tom
think
gave
I
it an 8.
who gave it a name?
Tom did.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So,
What's
so, so Tom liked it, or
yes.
or is an 8 out of 10 not classed as liking it in these rarefied
Oh no,
numbers-driven
no, I was saying
times?
it was just me and Tom that liked it. That was it. I was just saying me and Tom that liked it. It's just 2
Yeah,
of us, just 2
Haven't we done
people.
a podcast on this?
yeah.
We did a
We've
whole
done several
podcast on
podcasts. Yes.
yes.
Let's
But
not talk
anyway,
about Furiosa anymore. It was all
okay.
right. Moving on.
Okay. Made our top 4 justifiably. Moving on.
Yes.
Mickey 17, another one didn't make the 2024. We were anticipating this clearly because it's at a number 3, but
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not sure we still
Another trailer
are.
released, isn't it?
no, we
Yeah.
are.
Are
We
we?
are.
We are? Okay.
Because
Well, you've seen the trailer, so clearly,
the trailer, I mean, I don't think any of us were quite expecting it to be as overtly comedic as it so blatantly is. And
Okay.
it looks an absolute blast. So I am keeping my 9 out of 10 for this. I think it looks a hoot.
Okay. Okay. Um, Horizon. Have you
Oh
guys
dear.
seen Horizon yet?
Nah.
Okay, so this is the
No.
number 2. I was really looking forward to it. It's like a 3-hour part. No, it isn't even part 1. It's like a 3-hour opening act of a movie.
Prologue.
Yeah, a little bit more than a prologue to a movie, to a story. Who knows when we'll get the rest of it? Last thing I heard,
If ever.
Costner's visiting billionaires. So I don't know. I don't know how we're going to get the rest of it. But the fact that we were supposed to have chapters 1 and 2 already long released and chapter 3
Mm.
probably released as well by now, and the fact we only got part 1 and then it goes deathly silent, and we're still not having it on streaming. I mean, mm. Anyway, this landed a 7. I was being generous because it is still capable of forming the first quarter of a very watchable whole. But my lord, this was ambitious folly. But our number 1 was, at least for me, rightly picked as Dune. I
Yep.
slapped, you know, predictions and 9s abound. I slapped a 10 on this, and I was very very happy with having Dune at the top, and I'm not sure I'd switch that around now.
No.
Mm.
You're going to give it to Deadpool, are you, Mark? Or Ford?
No.
Yeah,
I,
I know.
see the thing with both these tunes, without a doubt, it is stupendous filmmaking, absolutely stupendous filmmaking. I'm not going to deny that. But I am a huge stan for David Lynch's version, and every fiber of me when I'm watching Villeneuve's films just screams at me, why didn't you want Sting with butterfly underpants in your film? For me, it's handsome, it's stunningly made, but it's a bit bland, if I'm honest. Do you know what it is? It's a bit beige.
Mhm.
I'd have
10
said
out of
No, not
10.
just.
I loved
Do you know
it.
what? I would give it
Loved
a
it.
solid 8. I very much enjoyed it, but it is no David Lynch's Dune.
All right. Other
Simple
than
as.
that, I think I'm quite happy with it being the top of this list. I think we did pretty well I
actually,
think
yeah.
the only one that was really bad was Driveway Dolls. And I think it's quite forgivable that we had higher expectations for that particular one. It's a nicer place to come from. I
Mm.
think overall we were
Hmm.
within a point of most everything on that list.
Yeah,
Um,
but you know what though? There's not a lot of standouts in there, though, is there?
what's been surprising, I think, is the ones that didn't make the list that turned out to be like real gems, because there were loads. There were loads we skipped off. We didn't talk about Killers of the Flower Moon. We didn't talk about. I mean, we didn't even talk about Transformers, but we didn't talk about Poor Things. We didn't include Zone of Interest. We didn't talk about. I mean, thankfully, Megalopolis. There were a bunch of other things in there that could have got a mention. None of us got around to Juror number two, and there've been a succession of interesting horrors that
Mm.
have defined a different avenue to 2024, like a real standout, even if they're not like film of the year material, they're arguably performance of the year material, some of these. And no one maybe would have expected a series of final girl performances from these particular actresses as defining their careers and
Mm.
making people want to maybe reassess how they provision Oscars. Yeah, I think it's been an interesting year for wins, but I'll take the ones we got here, and I think next time I am going to be, I'm going to be really interested in how we look at 2025's list, including some of the ones that were on 2024's.
Yeah, I was going to say just
Yeah. Or
all the ones that
2021.
haven't
Yeah,
started yet. Honestly,
right. Okay, that wraps up our look back at our anticipated movie predictions and how close they were.